Liverpool 1-2 Crystal Palace. 5 things we learned as the Eagles stunned Jurgen Klopp's men. Philippe Coutinho cancelled out Yannick Bolasie's opener, but Scott Dann popped up to give Alan Pardew's men another away win. Liverpool's impressive run of form came to an abrupt end on Sunday afternoon. The Reds saw off Chelsea last weekend and beat Rubin Kazan in Russia in midweek, but they came up short against a sturdy Crystal Palace side at Anfield. Yannick Bolasie netted the opener for the Eagles, but Philippe Coutinho brought Jurgen Klopp's men level. But Scott Dann popped up with a late winner to stun Anfield. Here are 5 things we learned. Jordon Ibe is a player transformed. It is amazing what a little confidence and a little belief can do for a young player. He looks nothing like the nervous, uncertain teenager who lost his way earlier in the season, and now is ready to take games by the scruff of the neck and influence them massive. Which is what Raheem Sterling did at his very best here at Anfield. If Jurgen Klopp has got Ibe believing in the same way, then he's going to have some player on his hands, and a natural successor to the England winger. Nathaniel Clyne also in the groove. Any mention of Ibe must also acknowledge the role Clyne is playing in his resurgence, because it is the fullback's defensive strength behind, and incredible athletic ability in running forward, that makes the right flank such a potent outlet for the Reds when the pair are together. At times, it was Liverpool's only outlet, and yet Palace still couldn't quite cope with the sheer speed at which the home side broke forward down the right. That says much for the partnership going forward. Klopp's tactics. The German is said to have a true wide player with pace and power, and he wants his full-backs to contribute similar qualities to the attacking effort too. Ibe is not a million miles away from the right winger at Dortmund Jakub Blaszczykowski, and already we are seeing the Reds set up in a similar way, to break forward with real direct penetration, playing off the skills of Benteke in playing back to goal and holding the ball up. Some of Liverpool's movement and passing was reminiscent of their best a couple of years ago, even if their finishing was still miles away from the Suarez golden spell. Palace committed to attack. Palace, to thorough tenor credit, also have the same instinct, and same pace and athletic prowess in going forward, and they were never afraid to follow it, making this an enthralling, open contest. Yannick Bolasie was outstanding in leading the line and contributing the first goal scored by a Palace player operating as a striker this season, and he was backed up superbly by Zaha, Sakho and Puncheon. Liverpool were always glancing nervously in behind because the threat of a run-in was constant, and it made for one of the best games at Anfield so far this season. Caution to the win for Reds. So too did Klopp's attacking mindset. He took off a midfielder in Can to bring on an extra forward in Firmino, meaning he entered the final period with a 5-man forward line and just one central midfielder. Never can you accuse the German of being too cautious, because he was unafraid to lose in attempting to win. It made the game hyper-frenetic, and ultimately, made Liverpool pay dearly for their adventure, because in trying to win, it meant they ultimately lost. Yet in some ways, as frustrating as that must have been for the Klopp faithful, it is the right mindset, because Klopp must instill a winning mentality in this side if they are to be successful.